Welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure and honor to have you here in our international conference, and we are very happy to have a Costal Cities discussion. We have in our panel three guests, three mayors from abroad. I'll introduce them in a minute, and the head of the mayor of Herzliya, Mr. Moshe Fadun, that will speak in Hebrew. So please have your headphones with you in order to get the translation of his talk. So first of all, Moshe Fadlon, the mayor of Herzliya, please. בבקשה, Moshe. Honorable Hassan Ali Joe from Kenya, the governor of Mombasa. Andrew Opara, the mayor of Split, Croatia. Where are you, Mr. Mayor? He's not here? He is here. An interview. All mayors, like, all politicians. Okay, so in a minute he will join us. And Mr. David Andre from the Seychelles Islands, the mayor of Victoria. Please, sir. We're glad to have you here. So let me introduce myself. I'm from Tel Aviv University. I'm the head of the Local Governments Institute of Tel Aviv University. And also, I'm standing here because I'm the director of the Costal Cities Forum, which Moshe is the leader of it, the head of it. And this forum is something that I founded 5 years ago. I don't know if you have it in your own countries, but it combines all the cities in Israel that has a seashore. It's very simple. If you have it, you are in. If you don't have it, you're out. So we have 21 cities that have seashore in Israel. By the way, the seashore in Israel, the coastline, what we call the coastline, is 197 kilometers, almost 200 kilometers, which we are very proud of, but it's very small compared to other countries in the world. Anyway, Moshe Fadlun is the mayor of Herzliya and the chairman of this forum. The mayor of Split, please. Join us. Thank you.
I'll be on the interview now.
Yeah, I knew. I guessed it immediately that you have an interview. This is the only thing that might prevent you from coming to the stage. But we are very happy to have you here with us. So I will ask you all questions. And the first one is to represent yourself and your city and your coastal. Your city as a coastal city. Tell us a little bit about your city and the coast and the coastline and the channels. Please, we'll start with you, Mr. Governor. Tell us about Mombasa.
Thank you very much. I am Hassan Joho, the governor of Mombasa County.
Maybe I'll go there.
The city that hosts the largest port in the sub-region, a city with roughly about 1.2 million population, with a coastline of over 40 kilometers within the city. A city that has tremendous potential in the conversation on blue economy because it is untapped, untouched, virgin. A city that is the gateway to largely Central and Eastern Africa, meaning a city that hosts as a logistical hub for over 140 million population for the countries that are hinterland. That is Uganda, Rwanda, South Sudan, and Burundi, and DRC. We are a fairly vibrant city in terms of port operations, but like I said, a city that has untouched blue economy potential. That's why we're here, to have a conversation, to tell our story, to hear your success stories, and be able to network to do more for our cities.
Thank you very much. Moshe, the mayor of Herzliya, the chairman of the forum. Moshe, ראש עיריית הרצליה ויושב ראש פורום הרחוב. תספר לנו קצת על החוף שלכם בהרצליה, על הדברים שאתם עושים ועל הפורום, בבקשה.
שלום מכובדיי, לפני כ3 שנים הקמנו פורום ראשי החוף, פורום ראשי רשויות החוף, מאשקלון בדרום ועד ראש הנקרה, 22 רשויות, וכאן המקום להודות לך אופיר, שאתה דחפת את הפורום הזה להקמתו. וקבענו לעצמנו מספר אתגרים, יעדים. האחד, ניקיון החופים. הצלחנו לגייס את המדינה ושילשנו את תקציבים שקשורים לניקיון החופים. 2, אנחנו מקדמים, ממנפים את הטיפול במצוקים בים. יש לנו בעיה, המצוקים בהם מתפוררים, הנזק הוא כבד, ואנחנו זקוקים להשקעה של מאות מיליוני שקלים בטיפול במצוקים. המדינה עוזרת לנו, יחד עם המדינה, יחד עם החברה למצוקים, אנחנו הולכים לטפל במצוקים, וכמה שיותר מהר. יעד שלישי זה חופי ים ללא פלסטיק. בשבוע הבא אני מקדם חוק עזר עירוני שאוסר הכנסת פלסטיק לים. אני מקווה שהרשויות נוספות ילכו אחרינו, ואני לא אתן לכם עכשיו סקירה מה הנזקים שהפלסטיק עושה לימה, לדגה. יעד רביעי זה להמשיך את הפרויקט של שביל הים, מראש הנקרה עד אשקלון. נופשים, מטיילים, יכולים ללכת על שביל הים בכיף, כמו שיש שביל ישראל, יהיה גם שביל הים. ויעד נוסף, הקמת חופים נוספים מוכרזים מאשקלון עד לראש הנקרה. זה בגדול תפקיד הפורום, ואנחנו עושים את זה בהצלחה רבה עם כל הגופים המקצועיים.
תודה משה, thank you Moshe. Now we are going to Seychelles Island. Imagine Seychelles Island, one of the nicest places in the world. And this is the mayor of Victoria, which is the capital of Seychelles Island. And you have such a background that you have to tell the audience, where are you coming from? You are not a typical politician, you are not a typical mayor. So if you won't say it, I will, but please do that.
All right, good morning, good afternoon, good morning everybody. My name is David Andre. I'm the mayor of Victoria, Seychelles. Like you rightly said, the most beautiful place on earth. It is dubbed paradise on earth. So if you've never been there, before you die, you should go there. Because if you don't go to paradise when you die, then at least you would have said, I've been there before, I know what it is. Yes, actually, I've been mayor of Victoria since 2017 for 3 years, and I've just been re-elected for another 3 years. But my profession, I'm an artist, I'm a musician, a music educator. And so I believe that arts and music and culture can also, well, not can also, but can contribute immensely to change the world, to make it a better place. Right?
You even wrote or composed the national anthem of Seychelles Island.
That's right.
Is it true?
Yes, that's right.
This is the rumor, you know, all about around the world.
No, it's not a rumor, it's true.
It's true.
Yeah, so the Seychelles Islands, well, definitely it's an island state east of Mombasa, Kenya, with a population of about 95,000 people. The city of Victoria is one of the smallest capital cities in the world, population of about 28,000, and we've got a very diverse culture. So anybody here in this room can be a Seychellois, because you see people coming from, originating from Africa, from Asia, from Europe, from almost everywhere in the world. So we are very proud to be a very diverse country and a diverse city. And obviously, as an island state, we are very concerned about the environment, about our coast, the cities, the climate change, sustainability, and of course our oceans. We've got to make sure that we protect it and make good use of what we've got there. And this is why I'm very happy to be here, to be able to share and learn with all of you here experiences pertaining to blue economy, tourism, climate change, and sustainability.
That's your first visit to Israel?
That's my first visit to Israel, yes, and it's a beautiful country.
Thank you.
I've had 2 days to visit a little bit, Jerusalem, Bethlehem, Masada, Dead Sea. So I'm making the most of it, and thank you, Israel, for your hospitality.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, yeah, the mayor of Split, Mr. Opara, This is your first time to Israel as well?
No, this is my second time in Israel, but first, when I visit Israel 5 years ago, I was in protocolar official visits, so practically you can't see nothing when you are under protocol, when you are in delegation. So the real experience of beautiness of your country, I feel just in these few days, in this wonderful and very important and very useful conference. My name is Andro Krstulović-Opara. I'm art historian and archaeologist, so you can imagine that I am in paradise here.
So tell us a little bit about Split. You know, we know Split very well from basketball experience.
Oh yeah.
You are one of our great challenges in basketball.
Yes, 30 years ago, our basketball team wins European championships against Maccabi from Israel.
It still hurts.
Sorry
still
for
hurts,
that.
yes.
But Maccabi Football Club wins my football club from Split 3 years ago, so now we are 1-1.
Now we're okay.
Okay, my town of Split is in central position in eastern Adriatic coast, in the Adriatic Sea, in southern eastern part of Europe. We are part of European Union from 2017. We are the second largest city in Croatia, 170,000 inhabitants. But we are the second largest city in Croatia. Very important university and cultural center. I'm coming from another most beautiful part of the sea as my colleague from Seychelles. Why? Because Emperor Diocletian, Roman Emperor, chose this place for his own villa. From this villa, during the centuries, this villa became a refugee camp for the people who felt ancient Salona. 17 centuries after, here we are in the modern city of Split.
Thank you. I'm coming back to you, Mr. Governor. You obviously have lots of challenges because you have 1.5 million people in Mombasa. You have 50 kilometers of coastal line, 50, which is quite a lot. You know that in Tel Aviv we have 14, which is also a challenge. So imagine 50. It's a real challenge. And of course, the climate change and stuff like that. So tell us, in a nutshell, what are your most important challenges that you are facing on your daily life as a governor? You know that, by the way, in Kenya, correct me if I'm wrong, you don't have now mayors, you have governors. So they changed the system. So they have 47 governors instead of hundreds of mayors. So tell us a little bit about that as well. It's interesting.
Very well. First of all, it is true Kenya in the year 2010 promulgated the new constitution that put to office 2 levels of government, which is the national government and county government, and functions that are clearly stipulated in our constitution. So obviously environment is one of the most important functions that we at the second level of government we've had to deal with. And one of the reasons as to why I happily accepted this invite is to be able to generally have a broad conversation on how city to city are able to deal with the challenges on matters blue economy, matters climate change and environment. And I must also acknowledge that I come from a city that has just begun the conversation on the blue economy. We basically have just been a host city of a vibrant port that is focused on inbound cargo into the sub-region. But now we are diversifying into creating a vibrant export port value addition and to be able to tap into that very basic natural resource. So we first of all must begin our conversation on preservation so that when we talk of prosperity, we must look at sustainability. And therefore, we are saying we have to deal with the education, the mindset issue, all these issues of banning plastic bags. Kenya is one of the countries who did it a long time ago and is...
Really?
Yes, we are happily executing it. You will never find plastic bag in Kenya.
Really?
In any shop, yes. And we've done that successfully. But now, we are at a point where we are telling the people, here lies an important economic opportunity, but it requires positive contribution to ensure we sustain it. And I am glad that the conversation in Tel Aviv today is focused on city to city. If you look largely at the national policies, the national conversations, they could be good, they could be above board, they could be responsive to the demands, but who are the implementers? The cities, the mayors, the governors, the heads of cities. And therefore, I am glad we're here to share our stories. We may not have been affected as much yet because this is a resource for us that is untapped, untouched, but we're headed there. We've done our explorations. We're looking at now providing energy source, maybe hydro or maybe even offshore wind turbine that is untouched. We, until this point, majority of the Kenyan coastline, totally 680 kilometers, majority of our fishing is local fishing. So how do we, or what do we need to do to ensure we encourage fishing that is not detrimental to the general environment of our natural resource? That requires education and sharing of experiences and sharing of our stories. So we are on the right track as a country. We've anchored a lot of environmental policy, both at national level and county level for implementation.
By the way, you are going to host, as you told me yesterday, you are going to host the African Coastal Cities Conference in September. So you should write it down in your diaries.
And it will not be restricted to African cities. Obviously, we want to bring African cities in the forefront, but we obviously want to hear a lot of more stories from the cities that are ahead of us. So African cities is the focus, but we will be inviting all of you.
But you are most welcome, yes?
All of you.
You are most welcome.
To share your experience with us.
Very nice. משה, הרצליה ידועה בתור עיר עם שירותי חוף מדהימים. דברים שלא רואים בהרבה ערים אחרות, פיתחתם את זה, הבאתם את זה לדרגה מאוד גבוהה, מי שמכיר, יש אפילו מעליות שיורדות מלמעלה למטה, דברים מאוד מאוד יפים שלא ראיתי בשום מקום אחר. תספר לנו קצת על איך אתה מנהל את זה, לאן אתה רוצה לקחת את זה, את כל הסיפור, כמה חופים יש בהרצליה, תן קצת דוגמה, מה אורך החוף שלכם וכן הלאה. כמה מבקרים יש בשנה, בעונה וכדומה.
יש בהרצליה חופים מדהימים, 8 חופים, יש מרינה והצלחה בלתי רגילה, במיוחד בחודשי הקיץ, עם פעילות תרבות ופעילות ערכית. רק בימים אלה יש לנו את התערוכה של ואן גוך, וכולם מוזמנים. אבל מה שמטריד אותי, מכובדיי, זה משבר האקלים. מה שקורה, הצלחות זה בסדר, אבל אנחנו כקברניטי המדינה צריכים לעסוק במשבר האקלים. נושא שרק בשבוע שעבר עלה לירושלים, היינו אצל נשיא המדינה, צוות מקצועי, וזה נושא שצריך לקבל את העדיפות המתאימה. כשאני אומר משבר האקלים, צריך להתחיל לטפל ברשות המקומית בתאורה חסכנית. הרצליה משקיעה כעת כ-20 מיליון שקלים בתאורה חסכנית. צריך להפוך את כל המיזוג האוויר לאנרגטי. הניקוזים, אין שום סיבה שבצירי כבישים לא יהיו פאנלים סולריים כדי לקבל חשמל. צריך להקים נתיבי תחבורה ציבוריים. אזור גוש דן לא יכול להכיל את מאות אלפי רכבים שמייבאים כל שנה לארץ. חברים, רק בשנתיים האחרונות הגיעו למעלה מ-350,000 כלי רכב, והם הגיעו לאזור גוש דן והמרכז. הם לא הגיעו לא למצפה רמון ולא לפרן בדרום, הם הגיעו לאזור המרכז. ואם תחשב 300,000 כלי רכב, כפול 20 מטר, בלי נסיעה, אתה צריך בשבילהם 7,000 קילומטר כביש. הרצליה היא החלוצה בפתיחת נתיבי תחבורה ציבוריים, סיימנו שלב א', הולכים לשלב ב', מי שירצה בעתיד לנסוע באוטובוס מהרצליה לתל אביב, 14-15 דקות. ירצה לנסוע באוטו הפרטי, שעה, שעה ורבע. זה מה שהולך להיות. והכי חשוב, לחנך את הילדים שלנו, את דור ההמשך, לנושא משבר האקלים.
תודה. Thank you, Moshe. Mayor of Victoria, Moshe spoke about the climate change. And I believe that Seychelles Islands are taking it into consideration, obviously. You know, you are exposed, you have lots of... How long is the coastal line in all the islands altogether? And especially focused on Victoria, your city.
Yeah. The Seychelles is made up of 115 islands altogether, but they are not all inhabited. The main island, which is called Mahé, is 40 kilometers long and 20 kilometers wide. And of course, we have a coastline all around the island and all the other islands as well. One of the challenges that we face, obviously, is coastal erosion, right? And pollution from other countries. Because since we are in the middle of the Indian Ocean, there's a lot of rubbish which comes from other countries. Although we have a very strict policy in Seychelles to make sure that we sort out the waste and everything properly, but we find ourselves collecting waste on some of the islands from places as far as Indonesia or in the Far East. So that's one of the big challenges that we have. And of course, when it comes to energy, we're thinking a lot about how to make use of sun energy, solar energy, and wind energy as well, because we would like to reduce the amount of fossil fuels and traffic in Victoria especially. Because Seychelles is a very small place, we have to be very careful, and our economy is based mostly on tourism, so it's a very delicate balance between how many people we allowed on our territory at one time, so that it doesn't affect the environment and what we're actually selling, because we're selling the environment, we're selling the beauty of the country, clean place, safe place, but we have to be very careful on the number of people that come to Seychelles as well.
The climate change and the sea level is going higher. It disturb you? It frightened you, or it's...
Yes, of course. I mean, there are some places where there's been coastal erosion, where we have to do rock armoring, and this is something that we're very concerned about. Yes, climate change is something, and we, as a small island state, we are really fighting and really trying to make our voice heard all around the world.
Yeah, thank you. Mayor of Split, what are your main challenges?
Our main challenge is how to develop sustainable tourism because we are a very small city.
How many tourists come to Split?
20 million tourists came in Croatia per year.
Split itself?
But the Split itself, million tourists with more than 3 million overnights. This is an enormous number for a small city as we are. The second problem is a problem of cruisers, boats and pollution of the cruiser boats. This is a problem not only in Split, but the more evident problem is in Venice, in Italy, or in Dubrovnik, south of Croatia, south of Split.
Very popular, Dubrovnik, for cruise. Yes.
For the cruise tourism. You can imagine that in this in the small stony shell, entering, I don't know, 8, 9, or 10,000 tourists in one moment. Practically, it's one tsunami of the people inside of the city. And responsibility of the people, responsibility of the mayors versus his inhabitants is very high. You can imagine how many garbage is produced by this enormous number of the tourists.
Yeah.
Who pays that? The citizens
of
the city.
The tourists pay.
This is the problem. We are talking about the sustainability of tourism. So we try to find the solution for this problem. This is the main challenge.
It's also, by the way, it's also a challenge for Tel Aviv these days. Tel Aviv become very attractive to tourism, and it becomes also, it's of course, it's a great thing, but it's also a challenge. It's not so easy for the inhabitants, for other people. It affects our lives. Anyway, let's continue. This is the last round. We start. To you, Mr. Governor, tell us a little bit about the connection between the inhabitants of Mombasa, the shore, and the sea. Do you see it as one unit, or you have a separation? Because we are now trying to combine the sea and the shore and the inhabitants, and to create a win-win-win situation for everyone. How do you see that?
Obviously, there is a disconnect, but let me say this. From my own perspective, I lead a city that is diverse, a city that is more or less like Tel Aviv, every tribe, every religion, every race. So, and I must also acknowledge, I've come to Tel Aviv for the first time, and I'm going home with a lot of positive experience.
You told me that you are trying to change your flight back in order to stay another day or two. Did you succeed?
Obviously, if I could, I would have, because there's a lot of stereotyping on what happens here. So I had thought we'd be moving around areas that are military guarded, barricaded, but we are seeing a lot of strength that we also have, because we in our city have believed strongly that our diversity is what gives us strength. And we encourage cohesion, we encourage coexistence, we live side by side together, and we are the kind of people who believe that we should invest heavily in investing in prosperity, more particularly in areas of natural resource that is beneficial and must be sustained. So we are having a conversation, like I said earlier, how do we ensure that before we even tap into our sea resources or blue economy, what measures, what policies are to be created to be put to use that can be sustained? One, we're largely looking at integrated transport system. We're largely looking at the kind of energy that shall be produced, the regulations on marine preservation, for example. How do we not interfere so much with the marine life? How do we invest in ensuring that we encourage friendly environmental ecosystem within our seas? So we have invested and we continue to invest heavily in policy formulation, capacity building, public participation, so that each one of us must believe in one way or another we have a role to play for our preservation of this natural resource.
Thank you very much, Mr. Governor. I would like to ask to Moshe about the special situation in Israel. You know that in Israel, the seashore belongs to the people. This is the value. That's how we see it. By the way, it's in the Israeli law. So it's a great thing that the Israeli public owns, in a way, the seashore. It's all public, but it creates a challenge, because how do you subsidize all the activities and all the services that you want to give to the people? And a city has a problem of subsidizing stuff if they cannot have money from the customers of the sea, because the customers own the sea or the seashore. So it's a dilemma. משה, מה שאמרתי להם שאני הולך לשאול אותך, זה איך אתה מתגבר על הדילמה בין זה שהחוף בישראל שייך לתושבים, ולכן הם לא משלמים, והם נכנסים חינם והכל, ומצד שני אתה צריך לספק את כל השירותים כעירייה, וזה יוצר בעיה תקציבית לא פשוטה. אז איך זה אצלך, ואיך זה גם בערים אחרות בפורום שלנו?
תראו, אנחנו מדברים על משאב מאוד יקר ומאוד חשוב לנו. מדינת ישראל התברכה בחוף מדהים, ואנחנו צריכים לתת את הכל כדי לשמור אותו. נכון, זה עולה כסף. המדינה עצמה כיעד צריכה לשמור, לבוא ולהנחות אותנו לשמר את הדבר הזה. תראה מה זה עושה בתל אביב, תראה מה זה עושה בהרצליה. בתי מלון, תיירות, כנסים, תהלוכות, מצעדים. אני בקרוב בונה עוד 4 בתי מלון, חברים, וזו כלכלה של עיר. למה אני בונה? אני בונה, ממשיך לבנות את מתחם ההייטק אצלנו. אלפי עובדי הייטק יגיעו מחול לעבוד בהרצליה. אני צריך בתי מלון, והם רוצים את הים, והם רוצים את המסעדות הטובות. לכן צריך להשקיע, וצריך לראות זה בראייה לאומית כלכלית. וכשדיברתי על משבר האקלים, אני גם מנהלת מחלקה יהודית בעירייה, במקרה נמצאת פה אפרת, שתטפל במשבר האקלים. זה מאוד חשוב לנו. ואנחנו נמשיך, גם אם זה עולה, ואנחנו כאנשים שאכפת, נעשה הכל, אופיר, אתה ואני וכולנו, נלחץ, נקים לובי בכנסת, כדי לשמר את המשאב היקר הזה. מאוד מאוד חשוב לנו.
תודה רבה, משה. The mayor of Victoria. I wanted to ask you, how do you finance all the activity, you know, all the services that you give to the people that come? How many people you have on? I mean, how many people? How many tourists? It serves tourists. It serves inhabitants. Are you getting money for your services, or they have to pay? Is it free for the public? How much money you have to invest in order to supply the services? Can you elaborate on that?
Are you talking about the tourism industry, really?
I'm talking about operating you have seashore that it's open for the public, that have lifeguards, that have whatever, hotels,
Yeah.
sea sport.
Okay. Well, Victoria is a port. There's lots of activities, maritime activities, which go on there, and we have a cruise ship season as well. People coming on cruise ships.
So it's a deep port.
Yeah, it is a deep port, yes. But the coastline, all the beaches are for everybody. I mean, it's free of charge. There's no private beaches or where people can pay or whatever. But there are hotels, because our economy is based mostly on tourism. There are hotels around the
How many tourists you've got per year?
Seychelles. Yeah, we have around 350 to 400,000 tourists per year, okay, with a population of 95,000 altogether.
One quarter from Israel, I understand.
Yeah, there's a direct flight from here, Victoria, to Tel Aviv. That's right. Yes. So tourism is a very important activity. And of course, we have the fishing industry, the tuna fishing as well, which is important. But there again, it's got to be sustainable, because we have to protect our stock of tuna. And now we are moving towards a project of aquaculture, so that we can sustain our maritime resources. But definitely it is a very important issue in Seychelles is that everybody is got to be aware and to have that sense of belonging, and we start that right from the beginning at school. Education is very important, to tell young people that we live in a very small place and we're very vulnerable as far as climate change and sustainability is concerned. So everybody should feel that we have a role to play to make sure that this place that we call paradise remains a paradise.
Yes, you are absolutely right. The mayor of Split, tell us about your way to handle the services to the tourists, to your own habitat. How do you manage to do that? How many seashores you've got? How long is the shoreline, the coastline in Split?
City of Split are situated in one peninsula, so our coastline is approximately 37 kilometers.
37?
We have 15 kilometers of beaches, and practically the whole city is exposed by the sea. But whole agglomeration of the various cities, just in the neighborhood of the city of Split, is practically 400,000 people. So we manage all this enormous number of the tourists with cooperation between the cities, but also with the help of the national government. It's very important to underline that we are the member of European Union, and many the funds came from our federal government, yes, European government, to improve the new for example, waste management or management of.
So you get money from the European Union?
Absolutely, yes.
That's
And
directly.
we are fighting for the funds every
Interesting.
year in some kind of the bourse of the funds. Because one of the topics of the new European government, it's a green economy, sustainable development and immigration policy. Immigration policy due to the problem of the refugees from the east. So these three topics are very important topics for the European Union, and one of them is financing of the program of sustainable tourism and development.
Wonderful. Moshe asked me to add another small thing because I asked him about the connection between his habitat, the sea, and the shore, and he has a very, very nice social project which we want to expose to you. Please.
חברים, אנחנו לפני מספר חודשים השקנו פרויקט של מרכז גלישה לילדים בעלי צרכים מיוחדים. זה נקרא לב ים. כל שבוע מגיעים 30 ילדים בעלי צרכים מיוחדים ולומדים גלישה בים על ידי מדריכים מתנדבים. הצלחה בלתי רגילה, הילדים מאושרים ואתם מוזמנים לראות את האטרקציה הזאת.
I want to thank, on behalf of you, to all our panelists, the mayors that came. Thank you for coming. Thank you for